Students, today we will learn the topic gross margin and markup. Today we will try to learn what is gross margin and what is markup, how gross margin is applied and how markup is applied in CAIE O level and A level questions. Students, first of all, you need to learn the formula. Gross margin is equal to gross profit over sales revenue into 100, and markup is gross profit over cost of sales into 100. So if you are asked to define what is gross margin, you can say gross margin is gross profit as percentage of sales revenue, and markup is gross profit as percentage of cost of sales. Now let us try to apply this concept. Students, you already know, uh, if revenue is 6,000 and cost of sales is 4,000, then gross profit will be equal to 2,000. Then what is markup in this situation? As we have already learned, markup is gross profit over cost of sales into 100. So markup will be equal to gross profit over cost of sales into 100. So if we solve it, it will be 50%. And students, gross margin the formula is gross profit over sales revenue into 100. So it will be gross profit 2000 divided by sales revenue 6000 into 100. It will be 33.33%. Students, one thing you need to remember is if a question asks you to calculate margin or markup in two decimal places, you have to write the answer in two decimal places. Sometimes students write it as 33.3. Marks can be deducted in this situation. So read the question instructions carefully before you solve a question. Okay. Sometimes questions require you to convert markup into margin or margin into markup, and you are often confused. So students, today we will try to simplify this concept. Number one you need to remember is markup is always applied on cost, and margin is always applied on sales revenue, and from both markup and margin we can calculate gross profit. So we can say markup into cost will be equal to gross profit, and margin into sales will be equal to gross profit. And students, you need to know markup can only be multiplied with cost, and margin can only be multiplied with sales revenue. Markup cannot be multiplied with sales revenue, and similarly margin cannot be multiplied with cost. So how to solve this type of problems when we are given markup and sales and when we are given margin and cost? So students, today we will learn the concept of SCP. What is S here? S here is selling price or sales. C here is cost of sales, and P here is gross profit. How to solve this type of questions? again I write it here as SCP. So students, if you are given markup is 25%, so markup 25%, you have to write 25 as profit, and because markup is applied on cost, so cost will be 100. So markup 25% means if the cost is 100, markup will be 25. And students, if you are given margin, let us suppose this is 20%, so that means profit is 20 because margin is applied on selling price, so sales will be 100. So 20% means if sales price is 100, the profit will be 20. So students, SCP concept will help you a lot in solving this type of questions. Now let us try to solve exam style questions. Students, this is a simple type of questions. For example, if you are given a cost of sales 360,000, markup is 25%. You already know markup is applied on cost, and you are required to calculate gross profit and sales revenue. What to do? So student, SCP rule. So write, because markup is 25%, write profit as 25, and markup is applied on cost, so cost will be 100. So students, as we already learned that sales revenue minus cost of sales is equal to gross profit. So let us try to apply here. If profit is 25, cost is 100, selling price will be 125. So selling price minus cost is equal to profit. Now how to solve this type of question? So students, in the question we are given cost 360,000, we will write it against cost 360,000, and we don't know what is the amount of sales. Sales is X. Now by cross multiplying these, we can calculate the value of X. X will be equal to 360,000 into 125 divided by 100. So sales will be 360,000 multiplied by 125 divided by 100, 450,000. So students, sales revenue is easily calculated, 450,000. And what will be gross profit? In this situation, gross profit will be equal to sales minus cost is equal to gross profit. Sales we have calculated as 450,000. Cost is already given. So the gross profit will be equal to 450 minus 360, 90,000. So the question is complete. Now let us move to the next question. When sales revenue is given, margin is given. So students, as we have already learned, margin is profit and margin is applied on sales. So if margin is 20%, write profit 20 and sales is 100. So in the question we are given sales revenue 120,000. So students, if sales are 100 and profit is 20, sales minus cost is equal to profit, that means cost is 80. So now we are required to calculate cost. Cost is equal to X, cross multiply the same, so the cost will be equal to 120,000 into 80 divided by 100. So this will be 96,000. So cost of sales is equal to 96,000. Now again, sales minus cost is equal to profit. Sales are given as 120,000, cost is 96,000, and we can calculate the profit. That will be 24,000. Now let us move to the next scenario, in which you are given sales revenue and you are given markup. We have already learned that for markup we need cost, and for sales revenue we need margin. But in SCP rule, you don't need to convert markup into margin and margin into markup. So let us try to simplify the situation. If markup is 25%, that means it is 25% of cost. So the cost is 100. So what will be the selling price? Sales minus cost is equal to profit. So sales will be 125 in this situation. Now students, sales is given as 2 lakh and cost is not given. Multiply the rule of multiply, cross multiply to calculate cost. Cost is equal to x. So the cost will be 2 lakh into 100 divided by 125. So it will be 160,000. So sales minus cost is equal to profit. Sales is given as 2 lakh. Cost we have calculated as 160,000. So the gross profit will be equal to 40,000. Now let us move to the next question. In this question, students, we are given gross margin. Gross margin is 20%. So the profit is 20, gross margin is applied on sales revenue. So in this situation, sales will be 100. Now students, if sales is 100 and profit is 20, the cost will be 80. In the question, we are given cost of sales 3 lakh, while sales revenue is not given. So by cross multiplying, sales will be equal to 3 lakh into 100 divided by 80. If we solve it, it will be 375,000. So sales revenue is 375,000. So sales minus cost is equal to profit. Sales we have calculated as 375,000 and cost of sales is given in the question. So the profit will be equal to 75,000. So students, this is all about today's lesson. Hope you have learned markup and margin, and from now onward you will not find any difficulty in applying this concept. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.